It has been way too long since I sat down and read a good horror novel. I think it's been at least a few months, if not longer than that. I can't actually remember the last horror novel that I read, but lately I've been in a huge horror mood. I've really wanted to read something that makes me feel like I should be looking over my shoulder. I absolutely love getting that feeling from books, so I figured I'd make a mini horror TBR for this week and hopefully pick a few good horror books to kind of set me on edge. So first off, I want to read Whispers by Dean Koontz. I just checked this one out from my library. I was told that this one is apparently really scary. I've never read a Dean Koontz before, so this is going to be my first by him. He is a very well-known horror author. I am going to be completely honest, I'm going into this book knowing absolutely nothing about it, and sometimes that's the best way to go into books, so I'm really looking forward to this one. The cover looks pretty freaky, so if the content matches the cover, I'm sure I'll be scared at least once or twice. Then I want to read another Grady Hendrix. I have read the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and some people didn't really like that one, but I actually really enjoyed it. I don't mind gore and gross things in my horror books, so I thought that one was really great. And I've been thinking about picking up my best friend's Exorcism for a while now, so this feels like the perfect time to do it. This book follows two high school girls who are best friends and have been best friends since 4th grade, and then one of them starts kind of acting a bit weird, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume it's because she is possessed, but this one sounds really good, and hopefully it is going to bring all of the freaky factor that Grady Hendrix is known for. And then I think it's about time that I finally sink my teeth into another Junji Ito. It's been a few months now since I read Frankenstein by Junji Ito, and I absolutely love that one. So of course I'm going to be picking up Uzumaki. This is apparently one of Junji Ito's scariest collection of manga, and I'm definitely nervous about it. I know that there is a spiral in it. That's all I know though. I tend to stay away from Junji Ito spoilers. I'm really excited to start this one, so I think I'm actually going to start this one right now. So I'm 42 pages into Uzumaki, and I'm already deeply disturbed. I don't think I'm going to read too much more of this tonight. I'd like to sleep. But wow, Junji Ito is really good at what he does, which is horrifying people. Yesterday, I finally felt brave enough to pick up Uzumaki again. It is definitely not for the faint of heart. It is quite gory and graphic. Not all of the chapters are, but a fair few of them have been, and I'm about a third of the way through now. I had to stop reading it yesterday after getting through a couple hundred pages, just because it really started to give me the heebie-jeebies and a very icky feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but I physically felt ill. So very good if you like horror that is gory and also psychologically terrifying, but if that's not really your style, I might recommend skipping this one, and I'm not even halfway through it yet. I am really enjoying it. I think, though, I'm going to have to take it bit by bit and not read too much, or else I might not sleep at night. Then I also got 35% of the way through Whispers by Dean Koontz. This one is really good so far as well. It's giving me that perfect suspenseful, freaky feeling that someone is watching me, and I love getting that feeling from books. I was reading it in bed last night with just my little wax melt lamp on, and it definitely set a kind of dark atmosphere, and reading books like this in the dark definitely heighten the suspense and make them a little bit more terrifying. It's not super gory or all that crazy as far as scary scenes go yet. I am only a little bit into this book as well. Also, I will say that when I first picked out this book, I did not realize how chunky it is. In order to make it a readable font, I zoomed into about size 14 on my Kobo, and that put it just over 2,000 pages, when I think the physical copy is somewhere between 450 and 500, depending on what edition. But that really surprised me. I did not realize it was going to be that long, but I will say that it reads very quickly. Dean Koontz's writing is definitely reminding me a bit of Stephen King's. He has actually mentioned Stephen King in this already. Yeah, super good so far. I haven't wanted to put it down, so I think right now I'm going to read some more of this before going to bed tonight, and then hopefully in the next couple of days I build up the courage again to pick up Uzumaki. Last night I finished Whispers by Dean Koontz, and holy crap, that book was absolutely insane. It went in a completely different direction than what I was expecting, and I am definitely going to be looking into more Dean Koontz because I really enjoyed his writing style. It reminded me a lot of Stephen King, and I really enjoy Stephen King as well, so I feel like Dean Koontz is definitely going to be a new favorite horror author of mine. It was very suspenseful, but also a very lengthy book. But even though it was extremely long, it still kind of kept me engaged the entire time because I needed to know what the heck was going on and what was going to happen next. There were a lot of dark twists and turns and unexpected things happening around every corner, so I really loved that aspect of it. I will say, however, with the length, the chapters are extremely long, and that can get a little bit tedious at times because I personally like to finish my chapter before putting a book down, and this one I just could not do that some nights. This book is close to 500 pages and there are only 7 chapters, so that kind of gives you a rough idea of how long these chapters really are. If you do plan on picking up this book at all, I would definitely recommend checking the content warnings for it. There are a lot of dark topics and graphic and disturbing scenes. Some of them involve sexual abuse, and I know that can be very challenging to read, but all in all, I think it was written extremely well. It was definitely horrific and scary, and it gave me that creeped out, somebody's watching me kind of feeling while I was reading it, and I absolutely loved that. Great horror book. So I'm going to go ahead and rate it 5 stars. I really enjoyed this, and it is one of the best horror books that I've read in a while. Speaking of very good horror books, I am not much further into Uzumaki. I have not been brave enough to pick this one up very often lately. I think I've read 2 more stories in it since I last talked to you, and they were both pretty scary, but not as bad as some of the other ones that I've read in it so far. The next one is about mosquitoes, and I was going to read it last night, but there were like 3 mosquitoes in my bedroom. So for my own sanity, I decided maybe I would wait until tonight to read that one, just in case it was going to keep me up at night. So I do think I'm going to read that right now. And then either later on or tomorrow, I'm going to finally pick up my best friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I am super excited for this one, and I cannot wait to start it. So I had the last 2 days off from work and it was super rainy and miserable outside, so I took the time to just relax in bed, and all I did was gaming and watching some TV and reading. And I ended up starting and also finishing My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This was a really fun horror read. It was super fast paced and engaging. I loved the fact that it was set in the 80s and it was also about teenage girls, and Grady Hendrix did a really good job of capturing being a tween to teen girl and how friendships are, and like doing the quizzes in teeny bop magazines and stuff like that. So I really loved that. And then obviously there was some horrific gore in it because it's Grady Hendrix, and I felt like that was all really well detailed and definitely made me squeamish a few times, but in a good way considering it is horror. This one, to me, there's no doubt in my mind, was 5 stars. I loved the writing. I could not put it down, and there's really like nothing I would change about it. I really enjoyed it. Really awesome read, and I love the cover. I feel like it captures the story really well. So if this cover seems like a fun vibe for you, I highly recommend this book. So now I think I'm just going to sit here and finish Uzumaki. I don't have much left, and I think I can finish it all in the next like half hour probably. So I am going to finish that. I just finished Uzumaki by Junji Ito, and I am deeply disturbed, but I guess that's a good thing. I mean, it's horror. You go into this hoping to be freaked out and unsettled and unnerved, and I can hardly put into words right now how disturbing this manga is. So if you do ever decide to pick this up, prepare to be super grossed out and weird feeling after you finish it. I don't know. It started off very freaky, then it kind of mellowed out a little bit for me, and I found it not so scary, but towards the end it got disgusting in a way, honestly. It did what it set out to do. Junji Ito is literally the master of horror manga, and this has got to be one of the scariest, ickiest, iest things I have ever read, so good for it. Honestly, 5 stars. So with that, I think I'm going to leave this reading vlog here. I have definitely consumed enough nightmare fuel at this point. I think I'm going to need a little bit of a break from horror for the next couple of weeks at least. But this has been a very amazing reading vlog. 3 5-star reads, and I had such a good time. I feel creeped out and the horror did its job. I am at a loss for words because of Uzumaki. Let me know in the comments what is the scariest horror book you have ever read, because I think I just found the scariest for me anyway. I hope you have a great rest of your week and happy reading.